On Iran, I'm very happy.
Really exciting, I think maybe one of the most...
U.S. President Donald Trump has just thrown his weight to Gianni Infantino as the Swiss official faces the biggest...
The 2026 FIFA World Cup may be over, but behind the scenes, a much bigger battle is beginning inside football's most powerful organization. At the center of this storm is FIFA President Gianni Infantino. And now, Donald Trump has publicly entered the conversation. Trump has defended Infantino and said that replacing him would be a terrible mistake. But here is what makes this story interesting. Trump cannot personally remove Infantino, and he cannot order FIFA to keep him in power. FIFA is an independent international football organization, and its president is chosen through FIFA's own electoral system. So why is Trump defending Infantino? Why are major football organizations questioning his leadership? And could this controversy become a serious problem before the 2027 FIFA presidential election? If you want football stories that go beyond the pitch and reveal the power, money, and controversies behind the sport, subscribe to the channel. Because this story is much bigger than one statement. Gianni Infantino has been one of the most powerful figures in world football since becoming FIFA president. Under his leadership, FIFA has pushed for greater global expansion, more commercial opportunities, and higher revenues. His supporters believe this has made FIFA financially stronger and created more resources for football development around the world. But his critics see a different picture. They argue that FIFA's growing commercial ambitions have created serious questions about transparency, consultation, and decision-making. Those questions became much louder after FIFA introduced a controversial proposal known as FIFA Forward Enterprise, or FFE. The proposal involved creating a new commercial structure that could potentially attract billions of dollars from external investors. Reports suggested a possible valuation of around $20 billion, with billions more potentially raised from investors. For FIFA, this could have been a huge financial opportunity. But UEFA, AFC, and CONCACAF raised serious concerns about the proposal and how it had been handled. And the real issue was not simply money, it was trust. Who should control football's most valuable commercial assets? And how much consultation should happen before FIFA makes decisions of this scale? FIFA does not operate alone. World football is built around powerful continental confederations and hundreds of national football associations. UEFA represents Europe, AFC represents Asia, CAF represents Africa, CONMEBOL represents South America, and CONCACAF represents North and Central America and the Caribbean. When several major organizations begin questioning FIFA's leadership, the problem becomes much bigger than one business proposal. It becomes a leadership issue. Eventually, FIFA withdrew the FFE proposal, but the controversy did not simply disappear. The bigger question became whether Infantino could maintain the trust of the football organizations around him. And the timing is extremely important. The 2027 FIFA presidential election is approaching, and Infantino wants to continue leading FIFA. That means the current controversy could become part of a much larger political battle over the future of world football. Infantino's supporters will argue that FIFA needs stability. They will point to the organization's growing financial strength and global reach. They will say modern football requires modern financial strategies, and stronger revenues can mean more investment in grassroots football, youth development, infrastructure, and smaller football nations. But his critics want something else: greater transparency, stronger consultation, and a system where major commercial decisions involve the wider football community before they move forward. That is why the FFE controversy matters. It is really a debate about what FIFA should become. Should FIFA operate more like a global sports business, or should commercial expansion always come with stronger governance? Then Donald Trump entered the story. On August 11, 2026, Trump publicly defended Infantino and said replacing him would be a terrible mistake. The statement attracted worldwide attention, but Trump's support does not decide FIFA's election. Infantino still needs votes from FIFA's member associations. He needs support across Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, and other regions. And that is where the 2027 election could become extremely important. Imagine a serious challenger entering the race with a different vision, more transparency, more consultation, a different commercial strategy, and stronger relationships with the confederations. Suddenly, The election would not simply be about Infantino. It would become a vote on what kind of FIFA football wants, and this could affect the next generation of footballers. Think about a young player training today in a country where football facilities are limited. That player does not care about a $20 billion valuation. They care about having a proper field, a good coach, equipment, an academy, and an opportunity. That is why FIFA's financial system matters. The money generated by global football can support grassroots development, youth programs, women's football, coaching, and infrastructure. More investment can create more opportunities. But if FIFA becomes trapped in political battles, attention can move away from the players and the development of the sport. That is why simply removing Infantino would not automatically solve FIFA's problems, and keeping him would not automatically solve them either. The real question is what kind of leadership FIFA needs. Football needs money, but it also needs trust. Football needs investment, but it also needs transparency, and FIFA has to find the balance. If Infantino remains president, he will need to rebuild trust and show that major commercial decisions can be handled more transparently. He will need to reassure the confederations and prove that FIFA's commercial growth ultimately benefits football. If he succeeds, today's controversy could become just another chapter in FIFA's history. But if tensions continue to grow, the 2027 election could become a genuine power struggle. And if Infantino loses, FIFA could enter a completely new era. A new president could rethink FIFA's commercial strategy, change how major financial decisions are made, and rebuild relationships with the confederations. But leadership change would also bring uncertainty. Major projects could be reviewed, strategies could change, and FIFA would have to make sure that political transition does not slow down football development. So this is not simply a story about whether Gianni Infantino stays or goes. It is about what football expects from the organization governing the world's biggest sport. Trump has made his position clear. He believes replacing Infantino would be a terrible mistake. But the final decision will not be made in Washington. It will be made through FIFA's own political system. Between now and 2027, anything can change. A new challenger could emerge. Confederations could change their positions. Infantino could rebuild support. Another controversy could weaken him. Or FIFA could introduce reforms that restore confidence. Nobody can honestly predict the final result today. But one thing is clear. Gianni Infantino is facing one of the most important political tests of his presidency. The World Cup may have ended on the pitch, but inside FIFA the match is still being played, and this time there is no trophy at stake. There is something much bigger. The future direction of world football. If you want more powerful documentaries about the hidden battles, controversies, and untold stories behind football's biggest organizations and stars, subscribe to the channel, because the next chapter of this story could change everything.